Hi, Art2. This week we're going to begin prepping for our storyboard project, but first I think it's really important for me to start going over what a storyboard exactly is. All right? So, storyboards are used to help plan out scripts and commercials where each angle is thoughtfully planned in order to save on production time and money. Or we can think about them as the comic strip art form ranging back to arguably the dawn of man on the walls of caves. Even instructionals like cookbook recipes and visual manuals like that of Legos or safety pamphlets on the plane are up for conversation in this project. Basically, I want us to think about multiple panels of imagery brought together in a paced and rhythmic pattern to convey a sequential idea that is intended to be read, regardless if there is text present or not. Take a look at the student example made 5 years ago. Here, the student is trying to convey the feeling of taking their guitar out of the case and the act of playing. It was something he knew so well because he has done it 100 times before. He has helped draw the viewer in by choosing interesting angles that force the viewer into the perspective of the strings themselves. The artist plays with the neck of the guitar by experimenting with the concept of foreshortening, the act of something coming out towards the viewer, forcing them to engage with the work. The artist has also cleverly added more and more vibrant color as the viewer's eye travels down the page. As the viewer reads through the piece, they are visually struck by the color popping into the scene, which is representative of the music itself. So, our task this week is to start thinking about the stories you want to tell. What is an idea that you want to convey? How much of the story do you want to tell? Can you get reference photos, or do you have reference photos? Or can you even construct these reference photos? What is something that you know how to do? What is something that you want to share with me and the rest of the group? These are the questions that you have to ask yourself in the brainstorm section of this week's worksheet titled Storyboard Prep. Teach me how to do something. Show me who you are. There are so many avenues we can go with this project. Personally, I love cooking. Cooking in itself is art. Take a look at these beautiful focaccia breads featured in the New York Times this past week for some very on-the-nose evidence. Or, take a look at the book Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat, written by Samin Nosrat and illustrated by Wendy McNaughton. The recipes are great, and the take on food is informational, but the bow on top is the visuals. The book is fun to engage with because of the homey and cute rustic style that is brought into each felt and observed drawing. The recipes feel accessible and fun as the ideas are conveyed with fun splashes of color that trick you into learning a few things. Samin and Wendy pair together to make a feast for both the table and the eyes in this week's inspiration book, Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat. But don't take my word for it. Take a look. It's in a book. Next on our worksheet, we have to think about audience. Who do we want to convey our story to? This will help guide your style choices. Take a look at all the ways these different artists conveyed the simple idea of brushing your teeth. How technical do you get? What words do you choose? How do you capture someone's attention with color but still convey the emotional tone you intend? I also love the fan-drawn episode of Bob's Burgers that features various animation styles that allow the viewer to enjoy some great characters in a new way. Moving on to step 3. Once you have thought about what your story might be and who it might be for, let's take the time to list out every step of your story. Specificity is the effort and fun in this part of the planning process. Get into the minutia like I tried to in my own example detailing how I make the world's best over-medium egg and cheese sandwich. I have 10 detailed steps on how I personally make something very simple. I encourage you to try making it, or even just try your hand at cooking in general, if you haven't in the past. Although we may edit down our steps as we progress forward, it is still nice to see all of our options at the onset. Step 4 is gathering, taking, and staging reference photos. Here are a few photos I took of my egg sandwich recipe. I tried to work with lighting and different angles, but because I felt a little rushed, I know the images aren't perfect. These photos may be great references, though, to encourage some drawing when we begin this project. Take a lot of different angles of each stage. You want options when you start to piece together your compositions. I also understand you may not have access to some of your favorite activities right now, but I believe that all of you can be crafty in staging some pretty great poses to help you draw a lot better. Lastly, let's try exploring what one panel in our storyboard could look like in this practice panel section. Think about your audience and the style you want to use. Think about how words and imagery will pair together to bring more meaning. I saw some really great examples already from the lyrical art exercises assigned this past week. Have the same fun in this project as we take this first step in our storyboards. The prep worksheet is due May 18th. Keep up the participation and keep on asking questions. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.